Now, I assume by you clicking on this video, you want to make more gold in Seasonal Discovery, or you want to know more about gold making in Seasonal Discovery, and that is why today we're talking about the best ways to make gold in a Season of Discovery. We're gonna get right into it. Let's talk about farming to begin with. Farming is where you can actively trade your time to make gold. When it comes to farming, there's several different ways to do this. You have open world farming, you have dungeon farming, you have boosting. It's just finding a way to trade the time that you have to get some gold in return. You can also farm raw gold in the open world, farm materials in the open world, and it's just a bunch of different ways you can farm. You can also have herbalism and mining, you can go out and farm those. You can have skinning, skin some beasts and get gold that way, or you can just kill regular mobs with a good loot table. Now for this video I'm going to keep it short and simple and show you a couple of different locations you can farm. I also have dedicated videos that will show you more about each individual farm, and I'll try to link some videos in the comment section or the video description of this video if you want to know more about every unique farm. Now, for me, there's three farms that stands out. Number one is the Tanaris Turtles. This one is still really good, and I've been talking about it before. It's one of my favorite farms in Phase 2, and it's going to keep being good in Phase 3 as well. Now, this farm gives you a bunch of different leathers, depending on where you farm this. In Phase 3, we can also farm the turtles in the hinterlands, for example, on the shores over there, to get different leather. Now, in Tanaris, you will get a rugged leather, or not rugged leather, but like thick leather, and thick hide. Thick hide is selling really well on the auction house, and you also get turtle scales. Turtle scales went down a lot in price early in Phase 2, and they have been skyrocketing ever since the waylaid supplies change happened a few weeks ago. So turtle scales does add a lot of gold to this farm, and makes it even more valuable than it already was. On top of that, you get stuff like turtle meat, you get the clams that you can open to have a chance at both black pearls and golden pearls, and all the other pearls as well. So it's a good farm. You can get some jackpot items. Once again, golden pearl is about 20 gold on many servers out there, so golden pearls is like a jackpot item that you are hunting for. On top of that, I have spent about 30 hours farming here and gotten 3 blues so far, so if you get the right blue, that also adds a lot of value to the farm itself. Even getting green items from level 40 plus mobs with the right stats can literally be selling for 20 gold each, if you get lucky of course. Now for most greens, they will be going for vendor price or send them to an enchanter, which can be a level 5 character to get more gold by just disenchanting those greens. Farm number 2 is going to be this one right here at the Spider Cave in Dustwallow. This one is also really good. It's a really good place to be, and the spiders are hyper spawning, which means you will basically never run out of mobs. It depends on how many there are, but like if you're 2 people here or 3 people, there should always be some spiders available. Alternatively, if you're playing a mage, you can also do this farm solo, or even as a duo mage. Depends on like how you play, but this farm is absolutely perfect and it's really good for everyone. You can be a mage and AoE farm, you can be a warlock and chain pull back to back, you can even be a melee and farm here at pretty high efficiency. On top of that, you have 4 different chest spawns, 2 of which are inside the cave, 2 of which are outside the cave, which means that if you get lucky, you can also pick up greens, blues, and even stuff like true silver bars from these chests, which also adds even more gold per hour to this farm. On top of that, it's in Dustwallow. It's a pretty good zone. You can even kill turtles in Dustwallow to make gold that way. You also have this one right here, the whelplings south in Dustwallow. You can also farm those, and they can give you small flame sacks, which go for anywhere between 1 and 2.5 gold. So that one is fluctuating a lot, and it's really profitable. It's also used in, for example, Dragon Breath Chili, which will make it even high demand in Phase 3, Phase 4, and pretty much every single phase. So this is a good farm now, it's gonna keep being good, and it's pretty much like a good farm all the time. Now on top of that, you can also make a bunch of gold by doing crafting. Which items to craft is going to be very hard for me to tell you. It's very server dependent on which items you should specifically craft, and I can just tell you a couple of the ones that I'm personally crafting and making a lot of gold with. Cooking so far has been absolutely huge for me. Taking small eggs, turning them into herb-baked eggs has been absolutely great, and this one might look dumb on the surface, but it's used in a waylaid supply, and people paying a lot of gold to get that rep if they have those boxes. So waylaid supplies are always a good flip. You can also buy clam meat turned into goblin deviled clams. You can also make, for example, soothing turtle bisque from turtle meat. Those are just a couple of examples from what you can do with cooking, and that's a couple of crafts that I'm doing a lot, which makes me a lot of profit. Additionally, when you get to like max level and get some reputation going, alchemy is great. Flipping with alchemy is absolutely fantastic. You can make a lot of gold by, for example, crafting lesser arcane elixirs, greater defense potions, and also elixirs of firepower. You can also literally take something like a firefin snapper and turn it into fire oil and make a lot of gold that way. At the moment, firefin snappers on my auction house, for example, they're selling for 5.5 silver each, or even 5.2, and you need 2 of them to make 1 fire oil, and fire oil is 17. Now, you also need to have an empty vial, I think it is, so you have to add like 40 copper to the crafting cost, but in this case you're turning 11.5 silver into 17 silver, just by turning fish into oil. That one is really simple, and it just makes alchemy even better once again. You can also do the same thing with blackmouth oil, and like turn the oily blackmouth into blackmouth oil, and make a lot of gold that way. Literally even doing something as simple as turning ores into bars, you can make gold with that as well. Now, one more flip that is kind of gone under the radar is the lesser wizard oil. This one costs me usually about 15 silver to make, and they go for at least 30 plus on the auction house, meaning I'm doubling my gold every single time by making one of these, and they're flying off the auction house like every single caster wants to have them. It increases their spell power, and it's the best thing they can have. So like Shadow Priest wants to have this, Boomkins, Mages, Destruction Warlocks, or any Warlock really, even Tank Warlocks, and then yeah, Elemental Shamans, you name it, right? Any caster will want to have this. So Lesser Wizard Oil, a really good flip as well, or a really good craft. Now, number 3. Gold making method number 3 is going to be flipping. Flipping is where you take the gold you have, you buy something out, and you repost it for a higher price. Exactly which items to flip will once again be very hard for me to tell you, it's very server dependent, but what I can tell you is that I'm mostly flipping 2 categories. Number 1, waylaid supplies. Number 2, raid consumables. Raid consumables once again goes back to lesser arcane elixirs, elixirs of firepower, and anything used in the raid. Even something like the lesser wizard oil is also a good flip, and the reasoning behind this is that you can buy everything out and you can sell hundreds of these consumables every single hour. So if you can just have control of the auction house for an hour or 2 by investing your capital, you can make a lot more gold. Just imagine if you're getting 50 silver profit per elixir instead of 25, and you're selling like hundreds. That adds up really fast, and you make a lot more profit from the potions that you already have crafted. So flipping is a good way to make gold, but it does require you having some capital. So what we're doing here is basically going through this in stages. Stage number 1 is farming gold so you can get the capital, and then you can use that capital through crafting and make profit that way. And when you get to like several thousand gold, now you should start flipping, or not even just flipping, but flipping and controlling the market, right? Use the capital you have to make even more gold. So number 1, farm, that way you get capital. Number 2, craft, so you're using the capital you have to build even more capital. And number 3, now we're flipping, which requires even more capital. Now, for the last part of how to make gold, you can take any leftover capital you have at this point and put them into investments. Investments is how I make most of my gold in Classic WoW. It's how I made my gold back in OG Classic WoW, in TBC Classic, Wrath Classic, and now in Season of Discovery. As a quick example here, we have Bolt of Mageweave from Phase 1, which I bought a bunch of. As you can see, I bought 1,045 of them for 23 silver each. They have gone down to 65 at this point, but I've also sold every single one. So I've turned these into white bandit masks, and that makes me more than 1 gold per bolt. So over 1 gold per bolt, I bought them for 23. That means I quadrupled my gold going from Phase 1 into Phase 2. Even a bunch of my Phase 2 investments have already paid off a lot, like for example Bolt of Runecloth. This one is all the way up to 74 silver at this point, and I bought over 2,000 of them for an average price of 42, so they've already doubled in price. And I can see these doubling one more time before Phase 2 comes out, or not before Phase 2, during Phase 3. I can see these doubling in price one more time at some point in Phase 3. Now, when it comes to investments in Season of Discovery, we are in a really good spot because we know what's coming in the next phase. Sure, Season of Discovery does add some brand new gameplay, you have like a new raid coming out and we don't really know what that is for every single phase, and there are sometimes some new consumes coming out as well, like the Lesser Arcane Elixir, but for the most part we know some items will be in higher demand in Phase 3, like for example Bolt of Runecloth, which has 0 demand in Phase 2, and at Phase 3 demand goes up a lot. Golden Pearls as well, another one of those that has literally 0 demand in Phase 2, and demand simply goes up in Phase 3. Fire Oil as well, they're used in the Elixir of Greater Firepower, which means Fire Mages and Destro Warlocks will want to have those in Phase 3 and Phase 4. So we know which items will be going up in the price and up in demand for every single phase, and there could be like some speculative investments as well that are worth making. But there are some pretty much guaranteed investments, and I do have videos on Phase 3 investments. Actually, we have 2 of them at this point, so if you want to check them out, I will leave a link to those as well in the video description. Now, that's a pretty much what I have for you today, and that's like an introduction to gold making and talking about the best ways to make gold in SOD by both farming, crafting, flipping, and doing investments. I chose not to go too heavy in depth on every single topic, I just wanted to give a brief overview on every single one, and then you can go and check out my other videos for specific examples on every single one. Now, if you want to make more gold in SOD as well, both in Phase 2, Phase 3, or any single phase, I do have a gold making guide that I've made for Classic WoW Season of Discovery, which you can check out down below. It's currently a 157 pages long document, including more than 50 different gold farms, the best crafts to do, the best flips to do, and you also get access to a private gold making community when you have this guide. The guide itself is exactly that, it's a guide and intro to gold making, and talking in general about gold making. Then for more advanced stuff, we have that closed off gold making community, where we can talk to each other, you can talk to me, ask me questions, and I respond to you as well. It's also where I share early access to gold making videos like investments, gold farms, you get them before they're public. If you want to make more gold, once again the link to that will be down below in the video description or the pinned comment, and if you do get it, thank you so much, it really helps me out, and I think I'll be able to help you out as well. Could be a win-win scenario. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, that's pretty much what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you again very soon.